What's up, Viberss? This is part 3 of how my life exploded 6 months ago, starring my actual real husband. Anyway, today we're going to talk about how the kids handled it, how we told them,
Space and time apart.
yeah, and how that helped. So, let's talk about the kids first.
Okay.
So, our oldest, she's 11.
Mm-hmm.
When we told her, she was not surprised at
No.
all. She was just kind of like, yeah, I kind of saw this coming. And unfortunately, anybody that has more than one kid, or maybe if you were the oldest child, you can relate to this. I'm the oldest child, so it's something that her and I have talked about. But being the oldest child is hard and interesting in its own ways because any stage you're the first one, so you're kind of like the test kid. I don't want to say it like that, but like your first time doing anything is also their first time doing it with you. So you're growing with your parents are growing with you, and so we're growing as parents with her. Everything that we've gone through has been the first time, and she's been the first one to experience it, first generation. And so she's, as most oldest children, mature beyond her years.
Yeah. And she's also very intuitive and perceptive of what's going on around her when she wants to be.
Yeah, when she wants to be is a key term there. But she, unfortunately, is going to be the one that remembers us fighting the most. Because as much as I want to be like, yeah, we had the emotional maturity to handle things without yelling at each other, we didn't.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just the brutal, honest reality of it, because that's what we do here. Is we try to make people feel seen in this way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't want to talk about the messy parts of their lives, but it was messy. There was a lot of times that we were yelling at each other, and like I said in part 2, we are both very stubborn, and we both are not afraid of confrontation. So there was a lot of times when we were just duking it out, and she's the one that is old enough to, she's going to remember bits and pieces of that. Unfortunately, we've grown a lot since then. Shout out to therapy. Individual therapy, in my opinion, individual therapy has helped the most, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's a lot better now. But, for a while it wasn't. And so when we told her, hey, we're going to separate for a little bit, not divorce, but we're going to separate and kind of figure out.
Not a big surprise to her.
Yeah, she was like, oh, yeah, I could. She's like, I saw this coming. And we were like, really? She said, yeah, because you guys fought for a long time, but then you stopped fighting, is what she said, which was very interesting to me. How perceptive that she was and mature enough to realize that that was an indication of like, oh, something's off here. So yeah, she was like, when you stopped fighting, I kind of knew that things were not great.
Yeah.
So, because we weren't just not fighting and like everything else was fine, we just kind of were ignoring each other at that point. And there was a lot of outward frustration and resentment on my part. Something would happen, and I was just like, like a lot of that. And she saw that. She's perceptive enough to be able to see that. So
yeah. All that to say, she took it well.
Yeah, she took it well. All that to say, she was like fine. Also, whenever I moved into this apartment, she was pretty pumped about it because she's got friends that live in this apartment complex. She was pumped about that. But also, she's I need alone time in the same way that I am. And she has 2 younger siblings. One of them is 8, one of them is 5, and they fight like cats and dogs, those two. And they're loud, and they're kids. And to a kid who is as mature beyond her years, wise beyond her years as she is, that is just
it's the worst for her.
The worst for her. She gets so irritated with that. So for her, she was like, heck yeah, this apartment is an opportunity for me to get away too. And it has been a lot of the time that I've been like, I'll come here by myself and I will bring her a lot of the time because she'll go in her room and do her thing, and then I'll be out here doing my thing. She's happy and I'm happy, and we're happy together separately, if that makes sense. Her and I vibe that way. So it's been good for her. Really, she's gotten the space that she needed that maybe she wouldn't have had the opportunity to get either. But
even though she's got her own room, in the same way that you need alone time and being alone quietly without people asking you for things and
Mm-hmm.
banging at the door and trying to open the door, and sticking their hands under the door and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. She does too. And so with the other two at the house, she couldn't get that.
Mm-mm.
Even though she's had her own room and she's got her own space and she's got her own, she could stay in there all day. It's still, she can hear the goings on of the rest of the
And that's
house,
stressful
and it's a lot.
to
And
people
yep, and
who need to
yeah,
be alone.
and those, like Allie was saying, our two youngest, they can be pretty intense
Mm-hmm.
individually, and then you get them together, and it's just
Oh,
absolute
no.
chaos. And you know, I'm glad that they feel safe and comfortable enough at home that they can let all that out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know at school, like Millie's in preschool, still through the summer until she starts kindergarten, and she doesn't have an outlet
Yeah.
in that space for her to be able to get those emotions out and stuff. And so when they're at home, they just
Yeah.
letting it all out, letting it hang loose,
Same
and
with
just
Liam.
yeah, for sure.
Big time.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for both of them in sort of the same way. They both are they're very high energy. Liam has high energy in spurts.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's very like, don't talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Millie's high energy 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
They're very justice driven. If they feel like something's not fair, they're very upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
And in a public school setting, that's difficult.
Yeah.
Difficult. So yeah, I'm glad that they're able to let that out at home. But it's stressful for me. It's stressful for Ellie. I'm sure it's stressful for you too. Sometimes, and like he was saying, Ellie is a lot like me in the sense that like she could be in her room, door closed, doing her own thing, but she can hear people screaming and yelling and fighting downstairs. Like, I mean, you're not calm. You want to be alone and quiet and peaceful. And the peaceful part is what was missing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Something that we're working on.
mm-hmm. But the younger two, they didn't really. I don't want to say they didn't understand because I think that Liam did kind of,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't. They're not. It wasn't a huge deal for them. They're not going to remember it in the way that Ellie did, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because to them it was a novelty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They weren't sad. They weren't bummed out. They were just like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Now we have two places to live.
Yeah, and it's not like all throughout what we've been going through, we've been together enough that it's not like they're spending a lot of time missing one parent or the other.
Yeah.
It's not like, I mean, there was not a ton of physical separation for the
Yeah.
most part. I mean, for one, the house and the apartment are separated by maybe a quarter mile at most.
Maybe.
So there's a lot of flexibility and going back and forth,
We got really
and
lucky.
there's not been a whole lot of, it's a separation, but it's not been a separation in what a lot of people go through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like one of us moved to a different city or anything like that. Some people separate and it's complete separation.
Yeah.
This is more like a taking space
Yeah.
separation.
Which is how it was framed at the beginning.
Yeah.
I stressed that a lot, like that this was the thing that was going to be our best chance
Mm-hmm.
at saving this marriage. It took a little convincing for him. He was very understandably nervous by that. He didn't,
Mm-hmm.
in his mind, he was like, separation equals divorce. And it took a lot of me being like, no, it doesn't. Here's why I think that this is what is necessary for us.
I was afraid that, this wedge was just going to be on top of the other, like emotional wedges that were already there. And this, you throw in the physical wedge, and that's the last one that you slam into the tree before it falls, or.
Yeah. But something that I understood and explained to him and sort of made him understand was that a lot of my need for the separation and the time apart was due to the extensive burnout that I was dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize how much that was contributing to our relationship issues. Like I had no tolerance. I had absolutely no tolerance. My fuse was so short. I would get irritated so freaking fast because I was so burnt out for so long that I just had no patience. I had no patience. I was angry. I was angry is an understatement. I was fucking pissed 24/7. And any little thing, I was just like, fuck this,
Yeah.
And it was because of burnout. And ladies, if you're feeling this way, you're not crazy, you're burnt out. And that's something I never would have realized. I never would have realized had it not been for the separation.
Mm-hmm.
Because coming out of burnout and my nervous system calming has been something that it's felt like I just didn't realize how bad it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, you're covered up 24/7 with somebody needing something.
Well, yes, but not even that. I mean, yes, but I had 3 children relatively close together. I had my youngest during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was shut down.
That was a wild time.
It was wild. It was the Wild West. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I had 3 babies. I had a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newborn, and I couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was closed. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
could go outside and play, but I had a newborn, and like she was born in August, and so it was hot as hell outside,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't want to be outside. It was rough. It was a rough time. I had a really bad depression, really bad anxiety. It was really bad. And he worked a swing shift, and so he was gone 5:30 in the morning to 6:30 at night, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he worked nights, so he was gone from 5:30 at night till 6:30 the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
It was rough, and he had to do that. His job has helped us tremendously, just like live our lives again. Like I've said, live our lives how we want to live them. It's been beneficial in a lot of ways, but it's hard. It's hard with 3 young kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard being alone in the middle of the night with a newborn who needs to breastfeed, a 2-year-old who's sick and throwing up, and a 5-year-old who's up crying because everybody else is up crying.
Mm-hmm.
It was rough. It was a rough time for me.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get rid of my business during that time. I was a stay-at-home mom up until like 8 months ago or so.
Mm-hmm.
So for almost 6 straight years, I was a stay-at-home mom, and during that whole time, it was poop, pee, throw up, babies, mommy, feed me, I'm hungry, I'm sick. Oh, you have to get your kid. Every time that I thought like, okay, everybody's either at daycare when they were a little older, at daycare or at school, somebody would get sick and I'd have to come get them. Like there wasn't alone time. That was not a thing. And as a mother, you know that that's going to be the case, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the time, and not everybody has this. Obviously, we didn't, but you have a partner that is there with you so you can switch off nights or whatever. You have a consistent schedule. We didn't have that. You have family that is there and can help you. We didn't have that up
Mm-hmm.
until recently when my mother retired.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the fucking trenches.
Yeah.
Just period. And that the fact that we even made it through that point of our lives and didn't get divorced is
mm-hmm.
fucking crazy. You know? Because it was
Yeah.
rough. It was rough. And our youngest is wild. I mean, just to say the least, in the way that is hard for a parent when she's a kid, but it's going to serve her well when she's
Yeah.
older.
Yeah, the traits that make her hard to parent are going to make her really great and independent as an
A
adult.
leader like you've never seen before.
Yeah, she's a hurricane.
She's a hurricane. So, but it's hard as I wasn't a single parent at the time, but it felt like it for the entirety of the time that our kids were little. Since 2015 up until recently, it felt like I was single parenting it part time.
Mm-hmm.
Because of his schedule. And again, not his fault. It's just the cards we were dealt. That doesn't make it not hard though.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make it, I feel like a lot of people be like, well, a lot of people are like, you should be grateful that you have a husband that has a good job. I am grateful. But being grateful for it and also feeling like this is really fucking hard and I'm having a really hard time are not mutually exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel both.
Yeah.
And so can you. And if people are trying to make you feel bad for being like, I love my kids, but this is fucking hard, or I love my husband, but goddamn it, I feel like a single mom, then fuck them. They're not your friends. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can feel both.
Yeah.
I did. And because I didn't talk about it and because I didn't have something like this to make me feel seen and heard, that's what a huge contributing factor that led us here.
Mm.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, it was hard, but this space has helped a lot. This space, more than anything, helped me calm my nervous system enough to start coming out of burnout.
Mm-hmm.
It helped me find my individuality again. It helped me calm my nervous system and burnout enough to be like, I'm not in survival mode 24/7. So
Mm-hmm.
my creativity has started to come back. My courage to be who I am, to find my style again, my individuality never would have happened had it not been for this space.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of who I am as a person and the growth that I have had to go through to come to this point. Like it feels very forged in the fire, and it feels very like I look at myself now and I feel brave. I feel a sense of peace to just be who I am and I know who that is because I've gone through this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's these experiences that help you grow and figure out who you are and what you want in life and what even if it doesn't end up working out like ours did where we didn't get divorced, it doesn't mean you didn't take away so much from that time or from the experiences that you've had. So always be grateful for that. I'm always grateful for the experiences, good and bad, because you always learn. There's always something to learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
And you come out a more complex, interesting person
Mm-hmm.
because of it. And so I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is, I've seen a lot of light come back into you
Mm-hmm.
since you've had the space and you've been able to like get out of that burnout because, you're going through it and you're like, yeah, I'm burnt out, but you don't realize how much of yourself is lost because you just, like you said, you can't soothe your nervous system and you're just in fight or flight all the time and you're just on edge and you have a hard time expressing yourself and just lose yourself in that.
Do you feel like you took me seriously enough when I would tell you how burnt out I was or how I needed space or alone time before I took action to separate?
No, I mean,
Do you feel like you ever would have understood it the way you do now?
it would have been really difficult for me to understand how intense your burnout was and your how intense your need was for that space without you just being basically like, I can't get what I need, so I have to leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was necessary.
Like I said, I could not fathom, I couldn't wrap my brain around how intense it was for you,
Mm-hmm.
the
And
burnout.
no amount of me explaining it.
Yeah, because you say, I need space, I need space, I need some time, I need alone time. And
But
like,
I mean, I would more than that. I would so much more than that explain why and try to explain how I was feeling,
mm-hmm.
but it wasn't really registering.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you having to be alone with the kids the way that you were because you had never really been alone with them in the ways that I had because of your
Yeah, for
schedule
sure. Yeah.
up until the separation.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel that that contributed any to you understanding me more or where I was coming from?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because when I was home or with the kids or doing stuff with the kids, I was never alone doing it
Mhm.
because you were always around.
Mhm.
I could always count on you being like something came up and I need to do something. Well, we're just even if I've got them somewhere else, they're like, oh, we're gonna go home. Mom will take care of whatever, and then
Right.
I'll do what I got to do.
Mhm.
You know, when you're flying through as a parent without backup, that makes it a lot. It opens your eyes.
Mhm. And that was a lot of my experience. I mean, that has been my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Is when he's there, he's there, but when he's not, he's obviously not.
Mm-hmm.
And having to do so much of it on my own was so hard, especially again because we didn't have family to help up until recently. We didn't have people, you know,
Mm.
and it was very isolating. It was very isolating.
Yeah, I can't think of a time until extremely very recently where there's never been a time where we were able to take our kids somewhere and let a grandparent or anybody watch them for a
Like
day or
overnight or
yeah, overnight. No, not
that
all three of our kids.
that didn't exist, and even now doesn't really
Yeah,
exist.
yeah, we've experimented one time with that. And
And it's hard. That makes it very difficult
yeah,
to connect with your partner,
mm-hmm.
not having that.
Because I mean, not only did you not have space for you individually, or me have space for me individually, we didn't have space for us as a
Mm-hmm.
couple.
And
Really.
yeah, and we didn't already have a consistent daily routine because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes he was on days, sometimes he was on nights, sometimes he was off. It's always all over the place. It always has been, and it will be. So that on top of, oh, I'm not really seeing my wife that much. I'm not really seeing my husband that much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really getting time for myself. I mean, it was just
Mm-hmm.
just slowly,
Yeah.
agonizingly.
Yeah.
That's something the kids did feel with the separation is they're not used to being away from me at night.
Mm. Yeah.
And there were times where I was like, I need to be by myself at the apartment, sleep alone. And that was hard for the kids because that really, I think that was probably the hardest thing
Mm-hmm.
for them was me not being there at night because they'd never experienced that. They experienced him not being around at night, you know, for 5, 6 days out of the month, every month.
Mm-hmm.
They've never experienced that except once a year I take a trip with my friends
Mm-hmm.
to Disney for 4 to 6 days, just depending what we can handle that year.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, that's not something that they're used to. So that probably, in my opinion, was the hardest thing for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even though they would see her, she's like, I need to be in a bed by myself with nobody around tonight, so I can get some good sleep or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'd be like, "Where's mom? Where's mom? Where's mom?" And I'm like, "Mom's at the apartment tonight." Like, it's me. What do you need? I'll take care of whatever you need. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not dad taking care of their needs is not the same as mom. Even if we're doing the same thing, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not, and for them, it's not because it's always been mom.
Mm-hmm.
Even now, even when we're together, they're like, they'll a lot of times walk right past you or
Mm-hmm.
right past my mom, who is retired, and so she does come help us now sometimes, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
They'll walk right past either them. They'll walk into the bathroom where I'm actively using the bathroom
Mm-hmm.
to be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
can you make me a sandwich?" I'm like, "Are you joking
Yeah.
right now?" I'm literally going to the bathroom. Can you
Uh.
ask any of the other adults in this house?
Uh.
It's just, there's a lot of moms can relate to that
Oh,
probably.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Hey, if you haven't already liked and subscribed to my channel, make sure that you do because I have one of these coming out every Friday. This series is almost finished, but I have lots of other series that are coming up. I'll announce the next one after next week's episode, which will be part 4, the final part of how my life exploded 6 months ago. So make sure that you like and subscribe. Hit that bell if you want notifications for when these drop. So stay tuned. We're back. So let's talk a little bit about
A
independent.
little bit about being independent.
Mm-hmm. I feel like outwardly I present as an independent person, but I'm not an independent person.
Well, you never had to be. To be fair, you never really had to be.
No, I wasn't. And I never really was allowed to be either.
Yeah, I mean,
Is another interesting point about my parents were very. My parents were great parents. Okay, so don't get it twisted in the
love you, Steve and
comments.
Teresa.
But they were very strict parents, and I wasn't allowed to do a lot of things.
You were their tough. You were their fragile little flower.
If you know Avatar: The Last Airbender, you'll know what that means. Shout out.
Yeah.
Toph is my favorite, by the way. If I was ever gonna be a character from Avatar: The Last Airbender, it would be Toph. And if I was ever gonna be any type of bender, it would be an Earthbender because they're elite. If you don't agree, you're wrong. I'm just kidding. But Earthbenders are elite, so whatever. Anyway, wasn't allowed to do a lot of things. I wasn't allowed to make choices for myself. I was pretty much told what I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me into a codependent person for a long time. And that carried into our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And really kind of is one of the reasons that we weren't doing well for a while because I had been so codependent that he felt like he didn't have to tell me a lot of things. He just did things. And no matter how much that I was like, hey, I need to know, in his mind, he was like, you don't really want to know.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And that really blew up part of our life.
Yeah.
He basically did everything. And there was a lot of times that I was like, hey, I would like to be included in this because it is my life too. And he just assumed that I didn't really mean that, I guess.
Yeah, we had several businesses
Mm-hmm.
in our time together, and then she was involved, but I took those on as I'm in charge of the business, and I'll do what I feel like we need to do, and we'll talk about it sometimes. Sometimes we don't. Just the mood, however the mood is. If we're not in the talking mood, we're not going to talk about it. I'm just going to continue on. And there were decisions I made that I didn't run by her, and it would have definitely benefited us if I had. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and sometimes you buck the duck.
Yeah, but my codependence really contributed a lot to that because there had been a lot of times in our younger years together that I was like, I don't want to,
Yeah.
that stresses me out.
You just do whatever you think
do
you
whatever
need to
you
do.
think is
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
But then as I got older, that's when I started being like, hey, I want to be involved in this. Hey, I want to see kind of what we're doing. I want to see what this is looking like. And that never really did happen.
Yeah.
And that contributed kind of to the downfall a little bit, but also opened my eyes to how codependent that I had been.
And it kind of worked for us because I can be fiercely independent, and don't believe in letting people tell me what to do or how to do what I want to do. And when I decide I'm going to do something, that's what I do, and I'm very persistent. And so, that we kind of fed off each other in that way. And, probably as she became, more experienced and wanted to be involved in more, I didn't really give her the space to allow for that, or take it seriously, or however you want to put it. And that's that's my fault because she's a awesome resource, one of the smartest people I've ever met, one of the most absolutely the most intuitive and perceptive person that I've ever met.
Yeah.
And I didn't use that resource that was freely given to me in a way that was positive. I saw a lot of times I saw it as a negative because I'm like, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to tell me? I've been doing this. Don't tell me what to do, instead of being like, you know what, she might have a point.
Because and that was always my biggest thing is because I'd be like, how often am I wrong? How often am I wrong about that stuff like this? And never. Never. And so it's like, at that point, when my track record is that good, you want to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about? That caused a lot of fights too. Because interestingly enough, I'm really codependent, or I had been really codependent in a lot of ways, but I also am very, don't tell me what to do. It was a very split personality kind of in me.
You're like, take care of it and do what you want to do.
But don't tell me what to do.
If part of taking care of it is you telling me what to do, well, no.
Then we have a problem.
Yeah, then
we don't have a problem.
You're gonna have to learn to gently suggest.
Yeah.
And gentle is not necessarily my strong suit.
No, it isn't.
Especially when it comes to being in charge of doing things, I'm typically not very gentle, and this is how we're going to do it. This is what, don't deviate from this, and like
and then
it's like with the kids, you better don't just do what I tell you to do. Don't ask me a bunch of questions. Just do it.
And then I'm like, now I'm going to deviate on purpose. Yeah. Now I'm about to piss you off.
Yeah. And that's something that I think we've done a good job of coming to terms with, understanding of each other, and the person that I married 13 years ago is not the same person that's sitting next to me.
Huge. Huge change. And when we got married, I was 24. Yep. And he was 33.
33.
Huge. There's a huge gap in life experience from 24 to 33.
Oh, yeah.
So when I was a 24-year-old marrying a 33-year-old, yeah, I'm like, you handle it. You know better than me. I don't know shit. I'm 24. I'm just a baby.
Yeah.
But as time went on and I gained more life experience and knew more, I was like, now wait a minute. Now hold on.
Yeah.
And I think he had a hard time coming to terms with that.
Yeah, for sure. When you've had control of something for so long, it's really hard to let go of that control, and a lot of people have difficulty with that.
Oh, yeah. He had a hard time with me being like, hey, well, just think about it like this because here's what I'm getting. And he's like, no shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I kind of do know some stuff now.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes the student becomes the teacher, right?
Yeah. It's important to appreciate your partner and give them credit where credit is due. If you take anything from this, take that. Because not having that made me not want to give it. So then nobody was getting it. And everybody was just like sad and pissed. Yeah. So I think that the separation really put a lot of things into perspective. And one of them for me and for you probably was like, whoa, I didn't realize what I had. I didn't realize all the things that she did. I didn't realize all the things that he did. I didn't realize all the ways that she was loving me and, in just the little things. I didn't realize all the way that he was loving me and just all the little things until it was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Space helped a lot in that way for us to realize that kind of thing.
Yeah, and it helped you come a long way in your independence too, because
Yeah,
I
I'm a
mean,
lot more independent now
because I
than I
mean, even
was.
before, like, if you had a doctor's appointment, what was you were doing it on a day that I was off, so that I could take you to the doctor's
I
appointment.
don't like to drive.
Yeah,
I still do that though.
yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
that's now that's not necessarily now a codependent thing. Now it's more of a love language thing.
yeah, that's true.
It's not I can't drive myself to my doctor's appointment. It's I can, but I'd rather have Matt drive me because then we spend time together in the car and at the appointment or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, though, I hate to drive.
Also, she hates to
I
drive.
hate it. There, it pisses me off to have to drive. I know there's a better way. Okay, there's gotta be.
Yep.
People die every day. Car accidents. It's disgusting. I hate it. Anyway, I don't like driving.
Anyway, all that to say, it's helped your sense of independence
greatly.
Yeah.
Massively.
Mm-hmm.
Even just having my own apartment, and I've had an apartment before with friends or whatever, but having my own apartment that's just me and being like, okay, I got I got to pay this and I got to pay that and I got to make sure I do this and I got to make sure all by myself is something that I had never done.
Yep. Setting up utilities, an account for utilities.
I'd never done it. And I'm really glad that I did because it's important to know how to do that stuff, number one. Number two, I wouldn't have ever gained independence in that way had I not just been like, you know what, I'm going to do that. If I wasn't brave enough to be like, I gotta, I'm doing it. Yeah. That's how I operate too. I wake up one day and I go, here's what I'm gonna do. And then I do it. Yeah. There's no planning. It just feels right. I'm like, today's the day. Yep.
Going by the gut and the seat of your pants.
Yep, that's how I got my job back too. Is I went into the bank one day because they were doing a photo shoot thing for their online marketing stuff, and I went back in and they were talking about how somebody they had an opening back at the bank, and I was like,
"Oh, really?
Hire me!" And then I had a job. Yep. I came home and I was like, "Hey, guess what?
Yeah,
I got a job.
You got an interview next week, and they're probably gonna hire me."
And he was like, "What?" Yeah, that's how it works. That's how I operate. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Make sure you hit that bell for notifications so that you keep getting notified when more parts come out. Next week is part 4 and the final part of this series. So make sure you have notifications turned on so you get notified when that comes out. And then at the end of that one, I'm going to announce the next series that I'm doing. So make sure that you're liked and subscribed. What is part 4 going to be about? What are we talking about in part 4?
Part 4 is talking about reintegration.
What life looks like now.
Coming back together where we're at now.
How we decided, hey, you know what? We're not going to get divorced. We're going to make it work. And I think that we're at a place where we can make it work. How that is working out. Things that we're doing to keep it going well. Spoiler alert, one of them is a type of therapy that I'm going to be talking about in a new series. Stay tuned when I announce that.
Talking about how doing this, especially for you, is a big help for you mentally.
Yes.
Like being able to express yourself creatively and bringing people together.
Making people feel seen is very important to me because there's been a lot of situations and a lot of times in my life where I felt very alone. And it's very important to me to be brutally honest, even when it's the ugly parts of life, even when it's me that has contributed to the ugly parts of life, being brutally honest in that way so that people feel seen. Because I'm a huge believer that if you try to sugarcoat shit, nobody gets anything from it. All they get is diabetes. Okay? We need to be telling people what the fuck is up. We don't need to be fucking playing around being like, oh, everything's great. And no, I would never. I did it. No. Life is messy. We need to talk about messy. And that's what we do here. And that's helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And I hope it helps you. And I hope it's helping. I hope this is getting to the people that need to see it. To feel seen. I see you. I've been there.
Yeah. And helping people has always been something that you've loved and been really good at.
It's a big part of how I love people.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of how I choose my friends too. If you are somebody that can be real with me too, and I know you're being authentic, because I can feel that. People can feel it. And I can feel that you're being authentic. And I can feel that you are being vulnerable. We're friends. We're friends. People need to feel seen. People need to hear the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Ugly parts of life are the parts that people need to hear the most.
Yep. Yep. I'm the world's worst offender about somebody saying, "Hey, what's wrong?" And I'm like, "Nothing, fine."
Uh-huh.
Well, she smells that
I'm like,
before she even asks. She knows.
I'm
She's like, "Something wrong with that guy," and then she's gonna be like, "Hey, what's it? Everything all right? What's wrong? Nothing, I'm fine. What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Ah, you're lying. He's
lying.
lying to me. I
I'm
know
like,
it."
you might not, you can lie to yourself, but
Yep.
you ain't gonna lie to me.
Yep. You
I
don't know it
said,
yet, but you're gonna come back in a little
you
bit.
better
And
go
you're about,
sit
you
with
know
it.
what I
You
was.
better go sit with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not good at that, but she has taught me how to do it, at least on a basic level.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sniffs it out like a damn emotion bloodhound.
I'm good at it.
You're
And
good
I
at
have
it.
a crazy good sense of smell, so that
You do, yeah.
tracks.
It's well.
So, anyways, stick around for part 4. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're going to be talking about reintegration, the moment that I decided, like, hey, you know what? We're going to dissolve this separation.
He's not the worst in the
It's
world.
not the worst, I guess. And how we've kind of been moving through it, how our emotions with each other and the way that we are interacting with each other is different now versus before the separation, how that's helped.
Spoiler
Changed.
alert, we still do fight.
Spoiler alert, we said, but not.
I said spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
I think.
No, but not like we used to, though.
No, it's definitely a
And
lot.
it's a lot less like, you fucking, you motherfucker, and a lot more like, well, hey.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more lighthearted. Like, it's evident that I like him now. Where before I was like, for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I get.
Yep. You were like,
Okay.
and I was like,
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. But so these are coming out every Friday. I drop these every Friday. So make sure you come back on Friday for the last part of this series. And then I'm going to talk about the series that we're starting after that, which is going to be interesting, I think. It's about therapy and a specific type of therapy that we've been doing in order to help ourselves individually grow, but also in our marriage grow. It's something I hadn't even heard about until he sent it to me. So it's been a journey, but a good one.
Mm-hmm.
So stick around for that. And I'll see you guys next Friday. Love you. Bye, Viberss.